Everybody, how's it going? Today I'm gonna do a little different video than I usually do. I'm working at my desk, my little lab here at home. I do module repairs, cluster repairs, all kinds of different repairs on mostly anything automotive related. But today I'm gonna kind of walk you through repairing dead LCD on the earlier version of the GM clusters. I do a lot of the newer ones, you know, the up to 06, 07, where the stepper motors go bad, and replace those. But occasionally we get the earlier ones with the dead LCD, and I thought maybe I'd just kind of walk you through it while I'm doing this one, and we'll take it apart and I'll show you where to look. And a lot of times you can do it with just some simple tools, you know, a voltmeter, soldering iron, and really no parts on these if you're lucky. So yeah, we'll go ahead. I'll start taking it apart and show you what to look for. We're gonna take this thing apart. Now these clusters are a little bit different than the newer style. Basically we're just gonna go around the back first. We're gonna pop all these loose. You can use a screwdriver, small pair of needle nose, and then you just pop it loose, each one. I'm going to go ahead and do them all, and then I'll just show you what I'm talking about. You're just going to pull this forward, and it's going to pop loose off the hook, and we're going to go all the way around, just like so. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of those, and I'll be right back off. You can see they're just clips, and they go over the little hooks here. You're just going to go all the way around the cluster until you get the back off, and then be careful, because these will break if you put too much force on them. But if you break a couple, not a big deal. It will stay attached. And now for the front cover, we got little tabs here. You're just going to push them in and push down, and then same thing, go all the way around, take the front cover off. Covers off. You can see here it's just little hooks. All I did was push back on those and pop them out of the holes. Now the difference between the newer clusters and these older ones, you don't want to pull the needles off. You don't want to take this front panel off. The stepper motors don't have stops on these, and you can take them off, but you're going to end up having to put it back in the car, start it up, and then get everything re-zeroed if you do. So leave them on, leave the front cover on, and what we're going to do is we're just going to pull straight up on the back. You can see the stepper motors actually just go into these little press-in fittings here. Just go ahead and push them up, and we're probably going to find some burnt parts around the LCD on here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up on this. You'll see them start to pop loose. Go to the next one, just kind of work your way around, pull it up carefully. We don't want to break anything. And then there you go. Once you get it loose, don't pull too hard. Once you get it loose, there's going to be the little LCD panel right up underneath here. If you pull straight out on it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about once I get it out. Pull straight out, and it's just got a little connector here that actually sets right in there on the LCD screen. So if you pull too hard initially, you're going to end up ripping those wires out, and it's kind of a pain to put them back together. So once that's done, you have your stepper motor panel with the front display still intact, all in one piece, so we don't have to mess with the gauges. We can put that off to the side, and now we can work on where the problem is. And we'll look around here, and usually on these, well, I can see already here, there's some discoloring right there, possibly some bad resistors. But usually what happens on these is we end up with some bad solder joints, cold solder on the front and the back right here. So I'm going to go ahead, pause the video for a minute, and then have a little quick look, and we'll test it out and see what's going on. Down to the LCD, I wanted to actually not skip a step, but I wanted to show you how to actually get this to lift up. You're going to see on the bottom side of the board, there are some little hooks here. We're going to push them back, and they will actually release from the main board. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand again. No tripod, haven't learned yet. And once you do that, we can carefully, because it's still going to be soldered on this edge here, carefully lift up on the LCD. And then we're going to do the same thing with this plastic piece. There are hooks right there. You can see them. I'm going to go ahead and stop for a second, push those, and we're going to get it down to just the board. quality of this video and not using a tripod, but it was like a last minute decision to kind of show how I fix this one. So I got this piece out. You can see the little hooks on here. They just hook into these slotted holes, so all you got to do is slide them back and they'll come right out. The next step that I like to do, because it's pretty easy to create a problem on these panels just by moving this around, is I will grab my long flat needle nose and then put it across and then twist, so that way you're not sure. And I'm going to show you where the common problem usually is on these. I went ahead and did a resistance check real quick across these resistors. They don't often go bad, but I have seen them before. But if you look, I'm going to try and put it to where you guys can see it. There's usually a cold solder joint. Oh, there it is on this one, on this panel. Now I can see it. It's going to be the very first one on this row. We'll see if I can't get it to move so I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. But right here, this very first one in the row is actually loose. I can see it. See if I can get it to move. Yep, there it goes. You can see it's actually separated from the board. I've seen them happen here on the GMs. I've actually seen them happen on the back side of the board along the row here. Not too often. Usually it's created by heat or just the manufacturing errors on these, but it always seems to be on this row. Typically it's the first or second one on this end, but I can see here the fourth one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to grab my soldering iron. I already got it warmed up, and I'm actually going to pull some of that solder off, put some flux on there and resolder it, and then we're going to put it back together and see how it does. Okay, so this cluster actually belongs to a really good friend of mine, and for the sake of the video, I just decided to desolder the whole LCD display from the board. I wouldn't expect you to do that, but I thought maybe it would help me kind of zoom in a little bit and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about problem wise. You can see right here, very first pin is actually separated from the board, and that's typically where you're going to find your problems. There's going to be one of these connectors that's soldered into the main board that's just come off, you know, and if you can put a little bit of flux and have some decent soldering skills, it's really not too bad to fix. While I have it apart, you can see this one sticking out. While I have it apart right now, I'm actually going to desolder these flux and resolder them all, and then I'll kind of show you what it looks like once it's all done. I've been doing this for a long time, you know, so I have some pretty good soldering skills. I might go around and touch up a couple other spots I've seen that look kind of cold, but basically that's all your problem is. It's going to be one of these connectors, you know, on the earlier clusters. If your LCD is intermittently, you know, flickering or not working, just kind of follow the steps, take it apart and have a look, you know. And there's nothing wrong with bending it back to repair it and then bending it back into place. You don't have to take the whole panel out like I did. I just wanted to make sure that these, you know, joints are all actually good and that the actual LCD is fixed. So I'm gonna go ahead and desolder that real quick and show you what it looks like when it's all fixed. Went ahead, desoldered them, and then soldered everything back together. Kind of hard to see, and it actually doesn't look very good, like with the flux on there, but it's actually some really nice solder joints. And then I did find two more over here, so it does help to look around and see, but I found two more cold joints on that end that I went ahead and fixed. I prefer to use the 6733 solder just because I like the lower melting temperature. I think this is like 0.4 millimeter, but you can use whatever you got. And then I fixed one here on the bottom of the resistor. It didn't look too good, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back in and we'll see how it works. Went ahead, snapped the plastic back together. We got all our joints good here. Flip the bottom side over, soldered it all back together. Everything's looking pretty good. I went around and checked all the bulbs. It's a good time to do that. Check all the bulbs, make sure they work. On the newer clusters, when I rebuild them, I always change them out to LEDs. Older style ones here with the sockets, I just pretty much leave them alone. I ran a couple other tests on some areas I was kind of concerned about on this board. Didn't find anything. So we're going to go ahead and snap it back on, put it back together, and see if it works. Back together, I always put the front cover on first. Set it down and then push firmly on the back, and then you just want to double check. All the actual stepper motors have little pins that go into these connectors, so you want to push it down firmly, make sure everything's locked into place and sitting flush, because if you don't, if one of these little stepper motor pins doesn't actually push all the way through, that gauge isn't going to work. So yeah, just push it all back together, put the front on first. The reason why I put the front on first is when you put a little force on it, you don't actually press the needles on the front side on the gauges too far down to where they don't work either. And then all you got to do is just snap the back on. The reassembly is actually the easy part. Snap the back on, and then we're ready to put it in and test. We're back here in the car. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in, and hopefully we have an LCD display at the bottom again. So let me plug this thing in. We'll turn the key on and see what we got. Okay, it's plugged in, and there we go. Got the LCD screen back. Everything's working. So that's all there is to it. Most of the time, you know, on the 2000, 2001, 2002, and 99 gauge clusters, it's usually just a cold solder joint. It's the reason why the LCD quits working. I know this isn't one of my best videos, just something I threw together. I promise from now on I'm going to set up a tripod, and I actually just bought an endoscope camera, so I'm going to be making more videos on module repairs and stuff like that as I do them, and the quality will get better. But thanks for watching, and hopefully this may help you out. Thanks. Hey everybody, how's it going? I just wanted to add a little bit more to this video. I'm starting to get up there in subscribers now, and I really just started this out as a hobby, and I have a million videos. You know, I work on just about everything you can imagine. I repair modules, I do diagnostics, and I just wanted to add that if there's anything you need or a video, feel free to ask me any questions or leave some comments or recommendations for future videos. Like I said, I work on all makes, all models of cars every day. I have access to pretty much anything. So if there's something that that you may need, feel free, and I'll do my best to help you out with it. And also, I've been doing this for 25 years now. I do rebuild modules. I repair. I can clone. And if there's a module you can't find, I always do offer a service to repair it, or at least give it a shot and see what I can do. I do a lot of Ford gem modules, a lot of clusters, a lot of just various things. Usually everything I do is for dealerships here in my Northern California area, but I do have spare time, and I have a lot of tools and a lot of money I've invested. I'm a fully licensed business and all that, so if you need something repaired, just shoot me an email, or you let me know what you got, and I'll let you know if it's something I can help you out with. And again, thanks for watching, and I'm going to start doing my best to make my videos a little bit better quality, start using a tripod and stuff like that. A lot of what I do is in the field, actually, on a job, and it just kind of hits me when I do the same things over and over that are kind of repetitive, that it is, a common problem. And then I do my best to make a quick little video to show you guys how to fix it. But yeah, if there's anything you're stuck on or you might need help with, like I said, I got 25 years of repairing everything electronic and mechanical. So yeah, go ahead and leave me a comment, and if I can help you out, I will. Thanks again for watching.